So one of the things that I've been seeing, especially over this last week, with all the news, Bradley Barcola potentially signing and etc. Liverpool looking for other players or looking at other players. I think Rayan has obviously been mentioned, but one of the conversations that keeps coming up is, will Rio Ngumoha's pathway be blocked, right, at Liverpool, especially if they sign someone like Bradley Barcola, who we know he's coming in to start, right? He's on that left-hand side because that's the position he predominantly plays. He can play on the right, but, left-hand side is the position that, he favors. It's the position that he's done so well for PSG in the last couple of seasons. So what does that then mean for Rio? Does he get shifted over to the right? Does it mean that he plays less? Is it a rotation thing? We have no idea. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Let's get into it, man. So yeah, like I said, man, it's a conversation. I just see it, it's been popping up every now and again, especially in the last week. I've just been kind of chilling, taking a look. Not really much news, if I'm being honest, kind of going on with Liverpool anyway, apart from the whole Bradley Barcola thing. At the time of this video, nothing's happened. I guess Liverpool have spoken to PSG about, potentially signing him. But yeah, I think whether that happens or not, we'll talk about it, when that time kind of sits. But like I said, man, one of the biggest things I'm seeing is more about blocking Rio's pathway. And, we can't sign someone else to play potentially in that position. And then it's now kind of, I wouldn't say switched, but the anger is now towards, oh, but we need a definite right winger. We need someone who is a predominant right winger, who that is their main position. That's mainly what they do, and etc. I'm seeing a lot. I've been seeing a lot. And I think that was one of the obviously the main questions that I'm asking is, do you think that Rio's pathway would be blocked? But at the same time as well, sometimes I do think, like, does it really matter? Like, do you get what I mean? Like, I'm not. I'm trying to figure out what is the reason as to why people care so much about whether his pathway is going to, kind of be blocked. If Rio's a very talented player, very, very, very talented, right? He's definitely a player I think is gonna, go on to have a good career in some capacity. I don't know if it's gonna be at Liverpool. I just think he's gonna have a good career, right? Whether it's here, Nottingham Forest, Barcelona, like he'll just have a good career, right? As long as he keeps his head on, um, just screwed on. As long as he keeps working hard as well, something I feel he's kind of already doing. I've never heard any negatives from him or from Liverpool, the players or whatever kind of thing. Like, he seems like a player that's kind of going from strength to strength. Obviously, we saw him with England during the summer as well, just before they went to the World Cup. So yeah, he's making the right strides, right? So obviously, long may that continue. If it's at Liverpool, great. If it's not, it is what it is. But I think that's kind of the thing for me, is that we're listen, there can only be a few players of this kind of ilk, right? And everything is very contextual, especially when it comes to football and players and clubs and stuff like that. But we're not talking about a young Lionel Messi. We're not talking about I don't know, a young I say a young Lamine Yamal, but we're not talking about a Lamine Yamal of a couple of years ago. We're not talking about a player of that kind of quality, right? In terms of, he's already at a very stupid level. I'm not going to say elite, but they're already at a very, very high level given their age, kind of thing. But even in comparison to their peers as well, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, Lamine Yamal, when he first kind of broke through 15 years of age, was already, I say 15, but then let's say 15, then he turned 16, I think, quite quickly thereafter. But let's just say during that kind of period, he was already operating at this kind of level where you thought, now you're already you can already see. And listen, I guess sometimes you just know, right? With those kind of talents, you just know. But you can already see that this is a top player. This is a player that, yeah, we can. It's going strength to strength with this kind of guy. Then you have the Euros that he has. Then obviously everything else that's obviously happened. After that kind of point, now he's won a World Cup, blah blah blah, right? But you could kind of see the trajectory. Messi, I feel like with Messi, you could always see there was going to be the trajectory in terms of, now not the player, but just in terms of, you knew this guy was going to be a bad boy. How much of a bad boy you probably could never have dreamed of, but you knew he was going to be a bad boy, right? Now, with talents like Rio, I always feel they're obviously a little bit difficult, a little bit more difficult to kind of gauge as to how far you feel like these kind of players are going to go, right? It's a bit like Phil Foden. I feel like he's in that kind of mold where you can see he's talented. Rio is definitely talented. I don't think anybody's going to say any different, but they don't have that kind of, that I can't find the words. I'm just clicking, but like there's that thing that they kind of have, about them just as players that the age, forget the age, no one cares about their age. Like it is just that Wayne Rooney, they just had it. Michael Owen, they just had it. Like there's certain players that just have that thing about them from such a young age, a young R9. Like they just have that, right? Other players, you might see it later on. You get what I'm saying? You might see it when they're 21. You're like, oh my God, they just boom, they just go like that. But when we're talking about really, really young players, there's only a select few, I feel, even in history. Kylian Mbappe, a more recent one as well. Rio, I feel, isn't that type of young player. That does not mean he's not going to be a phenomenal player. He's just not that type of guy. Like there's not that feeling like, yo, Rio. Yeah, I don't see it. And I'm not here to disagree. I'm not. This isn't a debate, by the way, people. Like, I don't want anyone messaging me, telling me, yeah, if you feel that way, amazing, brilliant. I hope it becomes that. I don't really care. Me personally, I just don't feel that with someone like Rio, right? He's in that kind of, what I guess, like tier below or whatever that case, whatever that looks like, right? He's just not that type of player. So when we are talking about signing a player like Bradley Barcola, right? And again, I don't know if he's going to sign or not, but just the conversations even around it, I'm just kind of like, I don't really understand how people feel signing him it's almost like it's almost being seen as like a bad thing. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's really being seen as like a bad thing. Like, oh, can't sign him. Got too many left wingers first and foremost. What does that mean for Rio? Blah blah blah. I'm like, I couldn't care less about how many left wingers you got. I couldn't care less about what it does for Rio. The player that you're signing is better than Rio at this current moment in time. Whatever you think about Barcola, whether you don't rate, he's better than Rio. I think you'd be doing a disservice to everybody, really and truly, if you thought it was the other way around, kind of thing. Like I said, we're not talking about a talent of the level of like a Lamine Yamal, where you're like, oh, I don't know about that one. I'm saying he's already displaying that he's better than such and such. Again, Rio might have an amazing season. I have no idea, right? So I can only speak for what we've seen as of right now. So when you do have that kind of opportunity, I would have thought more people would be more inclined to, side with the fact that, yeah, nah, you know what, cool, Rio, you go to a different position. Whether you go right wing, whether you sit on the bench as a left winger, whether you sit on the bench as a player who can play both sides, it doesn't really matter. But you're sitting on the bench. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? Unless Liverpool don't sign a right winger as an example, and then we can then look at the situation a bit differently. But if we're just talking about this position in isolation, I just don't really understand just the whole discourse around it. Like, I don't know, man. To me, it's confusing. Again, in the comment section, you'll probably be able to lecture me as to what I'm not seeing and blah blah blah. Fair enough. Again, let me know. I'm not trying to debate as to whether or not you rate Rio, don't rate him. It's not really about that. What I'm just trying to figure out is it a bad thing signing quality players? I feel like we want quality players, right? You then get the opportunity. Listen, we're not in charge of whether we sign them or don't sign them. I'm just in terms of just like fan discourse, because then this also plays a factor into how you then see the player, how you then rate the player whilst they're here, the judgment that you give them, the criticism, the praise, all of that kind of stuff. It all plays a part into that. And then we start getting different kind of conversations at a later date when once obviously the season, kind of kicks off. So I'm just trying to figure out like, okay, cool. Is it you don't like the player? Is it, do you want a different kind of player? Is it that? Is it, for example, obviously we've heard obviously the news with like Vinicius Jr., whether he's going to leave or not, and blah blah blah. If Liverpool had been in for him, even though I think apparently we was, but I don't know. Let's just say Liverpool in for him or Kvaratskhelia I'll use, because that's a popular player, right? We use Kvaratskhelia. If Liverpool were in for Kvaratskhelia, would people care about Rio's minutes? I'm pretty sure most of us would just say, nah, he can play right wing or the bench. It doesn't matter at that point. Or you're going to just play the backup to someone like Kvaratskhelia. Is that what it is? It's because we don't feel like Barcola obviously is of that kind of Kvaratskhelia level, which he's not. But like, I'm just trying to figure it out as to why do people care? Like I couldn't give two shits about his pathway. Like his pathway is whatever he makes it to be. Do you get what I'm trying? Like Phil Foden had to do. You got Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, David Silva obviously was still there at that period of time. You just bide your time. You just chill. Either you chill and don't go out on loan. And listen, I'm not saying that that's going to work for everybody to not go out on loan and still turn into the kind of quality talent level of a Phil Foden, right? Or someone who's extremely talented, really, really good player. Sometimes you will need to go out on loan. Maybe that's an idea if Liverpool obviously go out there and sign like a Rayan and then sign a Bradley Barcola. Again, Rio might look at that kind of situation and think, well, hold on a minute. It's not like you're signing two players 26 27 years of age, and then I'm basically literally next up. Like, you're signing guys who are quite young, who probably gonna have a lot of years left in the game, potentially even at the Liverpool Football Club. What does that then look like for me, kind of thing? But also at the same time, as a fan, you want that kind of competition. As a manager, you probably want that kind of competition. We always use PSG as kind of like a staple example, but you look at them, look how many attackers that they've got, whether it's Barcola, Doué, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, everyone's rotating, everyone's being used, as they kind of need to. So is that what the manager, wants moving forward? I'm like I said, it's just loads of questions. Do you get what I mean? I'm just trying to figure it out as to where everyone's head's at, what's the temperature kind of saying in the room, because I just feel like I'm seeing a lot of negativity kind of towards it. Yes, there's a lot of praise as well, so big that up, but there is a bit of negativity, behind, oh, signing someone like him, and oh, Rio can't play in this position. Guys, I'll be so real. I feel like both of them, they're both wingers. I feel like you should, and they will just be able to play on either wing. You get what I'm saying? Like, if they're good, they'll be able to just pattern it, and it won't really be too much of an issue. And then you just kind of take it from there. We're not talking about Iron Robin, who, yeah, I don't want him playing on the left, even though he kind of played on the left. I feel at Chelsea when he was there. I think I feel like he did, but I could be wrong. Yeah, like I feel like it doesn't really matter when it comes to these type of players. Do you get what I'm saying? If you got the opportunity to sign these type of players, you just sign them. Do you know what I mean? You figure out the logistics of it, I guess, later at a later date, kind of thing, and then you take it from there. And again, also as well, it doesn't even necessarily mean that, yeah, Rio, that's it. Like, it might not even mean that. It may not even, manager might even have a plan. I have no idea what Iraola wants to do. I have no idea how he sees things. He might just have a plan. He might be like, yeah, obviously you got Victor Munoz as well. Might be thinking, yeah, no, this is going to be a good rotation for me to have. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I might even be struggling to pick an 11 for the first game of the season, as an example. I might be struggling, to pick. And you need these kind of players. You need that kind of healthy competition. Don't want it to, unless you've got all timers, whether it's, Mane, Salah, Firmino, Suarez, Neymar, Messi, Ronaldo, Benzema, Bale, yeah, all Ronaldo, Tevez, Rooney, all timers. These are all timers. Yeah, if you got those kind of players in your team, then of course you're gonna have your front three, and then after that, it doesn't even matter. But I don't really. No one's got that right now. Do you get what I'm saying? So I feel like you can have the wingers and the strikers and whatnot, and you just need to be able to rotate, and everyone just got to be comfortable with it. If, of course, it's going to be leading to success, whatever success looks like for your club. But if it leads to that, I don't see what the problem is. Do you get what I'm saying? I just feel like it's just one of those kind of things. But listen, like I said, man, I'd love to know. I would love to know what people think. I would love to know why you think in that kind of way, or if you even think, that his pathway is going to be blocked, and, all of these kind of various different things, man. But let me know your thoughts, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, people. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back very, very soon with another video. So make sure you just stay tuned, keep the same energy, stay blessed. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.